Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Glessner. Today I'm going to show you how to make a texture quilt design. This project can be found in kindergarten's packet number 4, but anyone is welcome to follow along. A quilt is a blanket that is made by sewing together many different pieces of fabric. We are going to create our own quilt design using textures, crayons, and paper. To get started, we need to draw a grid. A grid is made of vertical and horizontal lines that might remind you of tic-tac-toe. I'm going to use a marker just to make sure my lines show up for you. It's okay if your lines aren't perfectly straight, but try to make sure that they go from one edge of your paper to the other. Now that we have our grid, we need to find and gather some textures from around our house. Some ideas include using a basket or a bumpy wall, cement or sidewalk, tree bark, seashells, buttons, coins, puzzle pieces, toys, and more. I have gathered a few things, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use these on our paper. This is a netted bag that oranges would come in. Once you find a texture, you're going to lay it underneath your project and pick a color. I'm going to color right over top of one section. I'm going to try not to go outside the lines. When I color, you're going to feel and see and hear that texture showing through. Can you see the bumps? That's what the netted bag looks like. When you're done with one texture, move on to a different one. When you do that, switch colors. I also found this interesting beaded necklace. I'm going to try this texture underneath. Let's see how this one turns out. Oh, it is showing up. Whoops. Poking through your paper sometimes happens, so maybe color a little bit gently until you feel where that texture ends. That will be helpful if you're using tree bark or something like a rock. A lot of these textures are just experiments, seeing how it works on your paper. I've also found a couple little things. I have a little clay button. Let's see if that makes a neat texture. You want to place your paper directly on top of it. That's a small thing underneath. Remember, we're going to color in the entire section. I also found some paper clips. Maybe I'll try this end section. I want to feel with my fingers and make sure that that's where they're lined up underneath that section. And there they are. Now, what happens if things move when you're coloring them? That's okay. It will just kind of create a different design. Let's try something else. I found this neat lid to a box, and it's actually made out of recycled newspaper. Let's see what kind of texture this makes. I want to feel. It's right underneath my section. And there you can see that pattern. I've collected a bumpy rock from outside. Let's see if this one works. Do you notice that I'm switching colors every time I choose a new texture? Now this one might be tougher. The rock wants to move around. So I'm kind of holding it still with my fingers as I color. You will find that some of these textures are way more difficult to color on than others. Also, if you pick a texture that's too soft, if you pick a carpet or a fuzzy sweater, those things might not show up as well as some of these harder, bumpier textures. But just give it a try. I also found this pencil cup. Let's see if I can figure out how to color on top of this. Something that's rounded is going to be a little bit tougher to do. You notice that my paper has to curve. That kind of looks like a neat texture showing up. Another place that you can find unexpected textures are the bottoms of your shoes. So do you see the texture, the pattern that's on this one? Let's see if I can color that. Going to hold it in place, and that's one of the hard parts about this project. Maybe you could ask an adult or a brother or sister to help you hold your paper. Ooh, I like that texture. So look at the bottoms of your shoes and see if you can find some different patterns on there. Now, I do have one that's already finished I want to show you. Here's one where I've colored every single section. So it actually reminds us of a quilt. I hope you had fun searching for and using textures from around your house. As you can see, artwork can be made using all sorts of ordinary items as your art supplies. I can't wait to see how your texture quilt designs turned out. So if you can, take a photo of your artwork and ask an adult to send it to my school email address. Thanks for watching.